Hello everybody, my name is Brianna Bilo and I'm a meteorologist here with the National Weather Service office in Grand Junction, Colorado, and this is your October 2023 monthly climate summary. So starting off with our story of the month, we have the annular solar eclipse that occurred on the morning of October 14th. So the reason why it's called the annular eclipse is not because it happens every year, but because at this time specifically, the moon was just far enough that it was slightly smaller than the sun, thus creating this ring, which is what annular refers to. And the path of totality actually passed right over a lot of the national parks, including Mesa Verde and some of the national monuments over here like Hovenweep and Canyon of the Ancients. And even with the rest of the Grand Junction CWA being out of the path of totality, they were still within 80% or better of totality. So it was definitely noticeable across the area that morning. And we did have some concern. There had been some passing high clouds, but we lucked out and skies remained clear. So all of those people with their eyes to the skies for the eclipse were able to get in on the show. And additionally, we did actually take a look at some various weather sensors, and in fact, as the sun was covered up by the moon to create this eclipse, the temperature actually dipped around about 5 degrees. So it was actually noticeably cooler for many of the people going out to view this. So definitely a very cool, very unique event, very weather dependent, because obviously you need those clear skies if you want to be able to see it. And if you're watching this and you got to see the annular eclipse, good job, because I was on midnights and I slept through it. But definitely a very unique event and very much kind of the big story for the month of October outside of a few cold snaps here and there. Moving into temperatures, we definitely saw some above normal temperatures in the month of October. Our warmest temperature for the month was 83, which for once did not occur at Canyonlands or Grand Junction. This 83-degree recording came from Cortez on the 19th, followed by Canyonlands and Grand Junction with 82 and 81 respectively. And our coolest warm temperature of the month was 73 here in Aspen, and that occurred on October 1st. Our low temperatures, as you can see, these are all very strongly clustered around the 30th of October. And if you're local to the area, you know that we had quite the cold snap there in the few days prior to that as well. We had our season-ending freeze for the month. We had our season-ending, like a growing season-ending freeze this month across the whole area. And we got pretty darn cold. Our records, unfortunately, were set in 2019 and 2020, which these didn't even get close to touching. I believe our record cold day for Grand Junction on the 30th, the temperature was something like 15. So not quite record-setting territory, but definitely darn cold. Our warmest cool temperature was 20 degrees, and that occurred both in Montrose and Grand Junction on the 30th, and our coldest low temperature was a whopping 2 in Aspen on the morning of the 30th. And a few places, specifically down south in Cortez and Durango, also saw their coldest temperatures on the 31st, and that just has to do with how long it takes for the cold front to work its way through the mountains and reach some of our southern cities such as Durango and Cortez. Moving into precipitation, it really depended on where you were, although generally we did see below normal precipitation for the area. 6 of these 10 sites did come in with below normal precipitation. The areas that did the best were kind of southern, northern mountains and in the central mountains. So we're talking, like Meeker and Craig and Aspen for sure. Aspen was our big winner here with just about 2.4 inches of precipitation, which was over an inch above normal. The rest of our departures, at least in the positive direction, were a little more, they weren't quite as excessive. Our best departures after that 1.06 came in the form of Montrose and Rifle with 1.14 inches above normal. But our departures in the other direction, Vernal and Durango down here were at the bottom here, with Durango coming in at 0.18, which was almost 1.25 inches below normal, and Vernal coming in at just 0.05 precipitation for the month of October, which was a little over 1 inch below normal. And the rest of those departures kind of were clustered around about 1/2 inch below normal. So it really depended on where you were, but the central mountains, including Aspen, did the best, and southern portions of the area and also northeast Utah kind of came in at the bottom here for precipitation. So we're kind of getting into a bit of a spottier pattern. This is sort of what I'd expect more out of monsoonal moisture rather than the winter storms we've been seeing, but we'll take what we can get. Hopefully we'll see some better, more widespread precipitation so that all of us kind of come in on an even keel. Even if we do still end up with below normal precipitation for the month of November. Speaking of our drought update, if you remember from last month or you've gone back and looked, we've actually seen a little bit of improvement over the central mountains, kind of reflecting that much above normal precipitation we've seen. So we've had some areas where the abnormally dry D0 has just completely gone away. And we've had some areas like in Gunnison County here where that D1 has given way to D0 abnormally dry conditions. We've whittled away a little bit at this patch of D2 across central western Colorado, but we have seen an expansion of the moderate drought into portions of central western Colorado and eastern Utah, and especially the most noticeable area is across northwest Colorado and northeast Utah, where we've seen an expansion of these abnormally dry conditions, as well as this D1 moderate drought poking into the area kind of around the northern Park Range and into the Elkheads, where we just haven't seen as much precipitation as maybe we would expect for this time of the year. As far as drought tendency, areas where we have anything above D0, we're looking at things to more or less stay the same. The areas with no drought or D0 drought, we're not expecting really any change there. So there's no real indication that the drought will redevelop in those areas, but where there is drought, it's going to stick around, at least for a little while. We'll see how the rest of the winter pans out. Moving into our snowpack, it's been interesting. We've had a couple of pretty good storms. And as I said, those central mountains really were the most favored areas, and you can kind of see that reflected in the SWE amounts for the Colorado headwaters and into the Gunnison Basin, where we are above normal as far as percentages for the month of October. But again, this is early season, so the calculations can get a little wonky. But really this is pretty reflective of what happened, with the northern mountains coming in below normal and the southern mountains coming in below normal as well, and eastern Utah just not doing so hot for this time of the year, with everything about 20% of normal for the basins that the Grand Junction area is concerned with. But early season, you know, it doesn't take a whole lot to really make a huge difference at this point, and we'll keep an eye on November, see how things turn out as we keep going into the winter season. As far as the climate outlook per the Climate Prediction Center, as far as temperatures are concerned, CPC is really favoring above normal temperatures. We're looking at 50 to 60% favoring above normal temperatures for the vast majority of eastern Utah and western Colorado, with more of a leaning towards above normal temperatures as you move east. So this is more of the 40 to 50% category. And then as far as precipitation is concerned, we're looking at equal chances of above or below normal precipitation. So there's no really strong signal as either direction, which is good. It means we've definitely got the chance to get some good winter storms in for the month and start building that snowpack. What is concerning though is having above normal temperatures will kind of limit that snowpack accumulation. But I guess, you know, we'll just have to wait and see. Every day is a new day, and yeah. So that's it for this climate summary. I will see you again next month with the November wrap-up as well as the fall season wrap-up. It's been another 3 months, and as once December 1st rolls around, we will officially be moving into meteorological winter, although that doesn't really matter necessarily in this neck of the woods. So stay tuned for those updates, and have a good one. Thank you for watching.